Two LMPD detectives are innovating cold case research, solving rapes from decades past in our area. But these new developments also create a catch-22 for victims who have long felt forgotten. Here again is Kris Williams.
Those backlog rape kits provided some DNA hits, but others offered no help. The spreadsheet helped detectives Lynch and Pedego connect the dots between cases.
Once we started realizing what we had, it was almost like it lit a fire because we wanted to continue. We wanted to help. We wanted to pull as much information possible to find closure for these poor victims.
Clearing the backlog rips open old wounds, sometimes leaving them raw with no real answers. Even if a kit comes back with no usable DNA, an advocate has to reach out to the survivor. It's a phone call none expect, and sometimes the thought of getting involved in a prosecution is too much to bear.
A lot of the time, talking about sexual assault is like reliving being sexually assaulted. So for some victims, they can't do it. They've put it behind them and they can't do it.
It's been a long time. Do you want to let it go? And without hesitation, I said, absolutely, let's pursue it.
Dana Lackey chose to face her predator in court. 16 years after he attacked her in Lackey's Hikes Point home, DNA linked Henry Crawford to the sexual assault. 4 years later, a judge handed Crawford a 200-year residency at Green River Correctional Facility. Dana found purpose working with the Center for Women and Children and served as its board chair.
There comes a time where you have to make that conscious decision. Do I allow this to control me and destroy me, ruin the rest of my life, or do I take it and control it and to make me a better person and to make me do something a little more worthwhile?
Sometimes justice comes too late. That takes a toll on these hardened investigators.
Loved her. She was the coolest woman. 88 years old, tough old bird, you know, meeting with her and talking about her case. Man, that's one that I'll never forget her.
The coolest woman had something in common with Dana. Detective Pedego shared with us his interview recordings.
This is Detective Pedego. Today's date is July 16, 2018. The current time now is approximately 1450 hours.
He says DNA finally tested in 2018 proved Henry Crawford raped the woman at her Wyandotte Avenue home 35 years earlier, in 1983.
He had his hand to my throat, and I really thought he had a knife.
A judge set a court date, but this time it was Detective Pedego who received an unexpected phone call.
It was tough. She had passed away. It was devastating. It hurt because she was never going to see him punished for the crime that he committed against her. And that really hurt. He's still in prison, and he's going to stay in prison, and he's going to die in prison.
But he'll never be convicted for her rape.
He will not.
Time stands still for no one. Lynch and Pedego are moving to prevent other cases from going unsolved, and they're soon packing for a trip to Oklahoma.
We've closed in on somebody that we know is a bad guy.
Obviously, I don't want to speak about specifics about the cases, but what we were able to determine from our spreadsheet is that this particular suspect had a very distinct modus operandi, where he was using specific weapons and doing specific things and saying specific things.
And then through the spreadsheet and through tedious case study, we're like, these are all him. And there's a stack we're taking with us. You know, and the win is us leaving from this road trip, looking at each other after we get a confession.
How many cases do you think?
We're taking a box with us.
20, 30, 40?
We're taking a box with us.
This could be one of the worst serial rapists in Louisville history that you know of.
Could be.
Other departments have contacted LMPD to ask about the spreadsheet. There's little doubt a similar system could help others crack cold cases, but that would probably only help that specific agency. Statistics show that rapists know no boundaries. What would be a bigger difference maker is if you took this system and turned it into a federal system, similar to the National DNA Database, so that police agencies across the country could control F and connect the dots. Kris Williams, WHAS 11 News.